welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are already subscribed, to those of you who are new to the channel, then make sure to do that big thing for me and subscribe to the channel. The YouTube algorithm loves when you also smash that like button. I've got a very special guest. Some of you may know him as an expert in the field. I personally see him as a veteran. It's the famous Warren Wheeler. How you doing?
Hey, everyone. How you going?
All right, so just to give people an insight today, just to give you an insight of what we're going to be doing through this call, I'm just going to be breaking down, Warren's techniques, methods. After we'll be providing some information of where you can go and follow Warren and check out some more on him. But before we do get into all of that, I'd just like you to introduce yourself, Warren. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, well, my name's Warren Wheeler, and I've been I started dabbling in affiliate marketing around 2006-ish sort of thing, and I got started making game sites, and those game sites I was sort of just running Google AdSense and banner ads and things like that, making a couple of dollars a day, and I sort of seen the potential in that, and then later drifted off into affiliate marketing, and once I started seeing how lucrative that was, I started focusing more and more on that. And I'm from Australia and married with kids and everything like that, so it's sort of a bit of a juggle to balance everything that I do, and it's something I enjoy doing. And
and how long have you been marketing for, Warren?
Since 2006, so it's good. What's that? 12 odd years or something.
Oh yeah, so 13 years, 14, coming up now.
Yeah.
All right, so what is it that led you into SEO over the other business models? I mean, we got, like Amazon, drop shipping. I'm not sure that all of those were around back then, but what is it that led you into SEO?
Yeah, so like I said, I got started just making flash game sites. I wanted to create like a mini clip. I don't know whether anyone knows mini clip from back in the day. It was like a big, massive flash game site, and then you had Newsground and sites like that. And all I was basically doing is just embedding other people's games on my site. And then I later worked out that to get traffic, you either had to use search engine optimization, or you had to buy banner ads, or back then it was like traffic trading, and you swap people's banners and things like that on different sites and forums. But I sort of started dabbling in SEO back then, learning about keywords and writing content to sort of game the system in a way, I guess, and build backlinks. So I got started with that. Started ranking for some pretty good terms. A lot of the competitive terms were a bit hard, but I was ranking good enough for a lot of keywords that were bringing in thousands of visitors a day, and sort of maxed out my server a few times and had to learn really quickly about hosting and all that sort of stuff. Once I sort of got into that and started seeing potential in other niches outside of gaming and how lucrative it was with like Clickbank and selling promoting digital products and things like that. That's when it sort of got interesting, and I started dabbling more in, probably more so bum marketing back then it was, and then content marketing more and more, and just building backlinks and sort of got into the whole SEO affiliate marketing game. So
Okay, and you mentioned Clickbank. Is that like specifically an area that you focus on these days, or do you like, using multiple affiliate networks and marketing?
I'm using multiple affiliate networks. It's just Clickbank is, because the commission rate's so good with Clickbank and it's all mostly digital, you can sort of scale pretty quickly. And if you can rank for good keywords, and get the traffic and have content that converts, well, then you can make a lot of money, obviously. But Clickbank is one that I promote. I promote a bunch of other things. A lot of in-house type affiliate stuff as well, where I've just reached out to companies that noticed they had an affiliate program through products that I was promoting on Clickbank. I've reached out to these other companies that were related and just sort of built a bit of a relationship with them. Places like I do Amazon as well. A bunch of other ones I just won't name because of dive into my niche, but
yeah,
it's one that I do focus heavily in, and I like to promote.
Okay, great. So just to give people a gauge of where you're at, because obviously a lot of the people that follow this channel know where I'm at, but just to show exactly where Warren is within his, business. What's the kind of biggest site that you've built revenue-wise and traffic-wise, just to get those ears listening?
Yeah. I'll give you an example of one site that I sold. I won't mention the name of it because I sort of can't.
That's right.
But
I know this site.
It was a site. It was only getting around 1,000 to 1,200 visitors a day, but I was promoting Clickbank products, and that was converting really high, and it was bringing in a good chunk of money. I was doing anywhere between $800 to $900 a day some days. That was just one site that I had. I've got multiple sites as well, but that site was generating mostly traffic from Google search, so like organic search, and like I said, it was promoting Clickbank products. Got to the point where it was going up and down. It was a little bit sort of seasonal in a way, but the traffic was sort of pretty steady. I ended up selling that site for a good six-figure amount, and that's one one site that sort of did pretty good for me. But at the moment I'm sort of trying to build up a couple of sites that I'm going to try and sell for even more. So eventually, I'll be selling those and add to the.
That's it. So just talking about that as well, I just wanted to dig into exactly, what is your kind of whole goal in that sense with affiliate websites? Is it to build a portfolio and hold a few for cash flow and then sell a few? Or is it kind of like a strategy of where you build them up, sell them on, and then take a nice chunk of change and then move on to the next? What is your whole outlook on that?
Yeah, so my strategy is more so to always have an exit strategy. So I've always sort of got that. It doesn't matter what site it is. Like I've got a few sites that I want to keep, but I've always got that. I'm going to sell it later on down the track for a good chunk of money. But most sites, like I'll try and get earning a certain amount in a certain amount of time. Might be like a 10-month, 12 months to 2-year period, and if I can get those earnings up to a good monthly figure, well then I know that I'll get a good chunk of money if I sell that site. So that's pretty much what I do. I build affiliate sites up, I get them to a certain point, and then I'll sell it off. And the reason why I do that is, one, a lot of the time I just get sick of that site or lose interest in it. I just want to sort of I get to a certain point and go, all right, I think it's time to sell it. The other reason is because I know it's a good time to sell. If I see a lot of people buying sites and things like that, or like I said, if I know that I just can't take it any further, or like my time's focused on other sites, I'll sell it. But I'm not the type that likes to have like a big portfolio, because I find it hard to manage, and it just takes my focus away, and I can't have my focus on too many things at once. But I do have a small team now where I get people to write articles and build stuff for me, sort of thing. But I've always got that end game where I'm going to sell. So
And if any of you stick to the end, make sure, all of you should, we'll link out and mention exactly where you can get Warren's writing services, because he does provide a service of where I personally have recently used and ordered a product review, which was very good. It was amazing. And I definitely would highly recommend it. And stay to the end of the video. We'll mention where you can go and find that. All right. So just to dig into your strategy, Warren, did you have anything to say there?
No, you're right.
Okay, just to dig into your strategy a little bit now, because I'm sure many people watching are going to be very interested in your approach to affiliate marketing and SEO. So do you use expired domains or brand new domains when you're building your sites?
Most of the time I use a fresh domain.
Yeah.
I'd have dabbled in with the expired domain names and things like that. It can be a bit of a pain trying to vet the domain and make sure it's clean and hasn't got any toxic sort of links or anything like that. But it can definitely speed up the process. Like every domain that I've used that's an expired domain has sort of shot off a lot quicker than a fresh one because it just, it's just the way Google sort of works.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of like you've sort of got to know what you're doing if you're gonna. I wouldn't recommend it so much if you're a beginner.
Yeah.
If you're an absolute beginner and you're just trying to learn, I recommend just going with a fresh domain name, like a brand new domain name that you bought. Make sure it hasn't got any history in case it was an expired domain previously, because it can slow things down a lot. But it's just because you'll learn so much more starting from fresh. I mean, if you're going to dabble in that later on, so be it. But for an absolute beginner, I'd recommend fresh. Yeah.
Okay, great. And in regards to your sites themselves, do you monetize mainly with affiliate products, or do you like split that across ads and things like that in regards to your strategy?
Yeah, so most of my sites are just I'm either promoting affiliate links or affiliate products, capturing people's email addresses and then sort of warming them up after a sequence of emails. Or that's pretty much my method. I don't really do display ads or Google AdSense or Ezoic or anything like that. And the reason for that is I've just always found that I get a high conversion rate if people are just focusing in on the content that I want them to read.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have done display ads in the past, made a bit of money with it as well. Depending on the niche, if I know the products that I'm promoting, if it's say Amazon, for example, if I'm building an Amazon site, which is mostly Amazon on a couple of Clickbank products, I might add display products, but very rarely I do these days.
Yeah. Okay. And just for the beginners out there, like what kind of indicators do you use to select a niche? What is it that kind of drives you into, picking a niche in the first place? What is it that, gives you the indicator?
So for me, I like choosing a niche that I'm sort of somewhat interested in. Some people say that doesn't matter, you can go in whatever niche. People can make money in whatever niche they choose, but the thing is, for me, I've got to have some sort of interest in it because I will get bored of it very quickly. I either find it really hard to write content for, or if I'm hiring a writer, I like to be able to understand what I've outsourced. So if I'm reading that, I want to be able to understand whether it's good content or not. And if I've got no clue what that is, then I'm obviously just throwing paint at the wall and hoping it goes out good. But I always recommend choose something that is that you're somewhat interested in, that you're going to have some sort of maybe a passion for or a hobby, and then just make sure that there's products available in that niche or that topic that you're going to be writing about, because and the way to do that, you can have a look, see if there's books that have been written about it, if there's products already selling, and you can see lots of reviews. All sorts of ways that you can sort of vet to see if there's a potential in that niche. But
Okay, and in regards to Clickbank products, because obviously you're very highly experienced in that field, what is it that kind of drives you into picking a Clickbank product? Do you kind of go in and just see what's kind of selling by gravity, or is it something that you see, okay, well, what's kind of released in the last couple of weeks and, what's fresh, or is it just a variation of those kind of strategies?
It is a bit of a variation. I mean, I'll go through and I'll have a look at the gravity of and the popularity of products, and sometimes if I know a popular product is really taking off and I know it's going to suit my niche and the content that I'm creating and the visitors that are coming in, I'll sort of create more content around that, maybe whether it's a review or a buyer intent type keyword to get people into that product. But I like to actually promote products that are in the gravity range of about 20 to 50 gravity, because it's sort of like in a bit of a, it's not so competitive. And a lot of the time those products, you can find some golden nuggets in that range as well. And I'm not saying don't promote anything below that and don't promote anything above that, because I promote products that have, you know, 3 or 4 gravity, and there's only a few sort of, and I've made a lot of sales of those as well. So, but yeah, generally, if it's got a good landing page, if it's got good affiliate material, like on the affiliate pages, because it makes things so much easier if they've sort of done a lot of stuff for you. I like reaching out to Clickbank vendors as well, and what I'll do, I'll ask them for a review copy. I'll see if they're responsive and things like that. If they don't get back to me, well, then most of the time I just won't promote their product. If they haven't got the time to get back to me, well, then, you know, like it doesn't really make sense for me. And I also like to look at the product and make sure the product's actually decent, does what it says it does, sort of thing. Because you will get a lot of refunds with Clickbank if they are not so good. But yeah, that's sort of my process. Like I'll reach out to them. If I can get a review copy, I can go over the product, I can have a look at it. I can get my writers to write a review of the product or write content around it, or I can do that myself, because I still write content for my sites myself. And yeah, like I'll just do that with Clickbank products.
Okay.
And most vendors are pretty easy going too. Like if a lot of them are happy to give you a copy or give you temporary access if it's a membership site or software. A lot of them will say, okay, yeah, if you're going to promote it, I'll give you access. So yeah.
That's a big point for anyone watching. Make sure you're reaching out to vendors and getting in touch and attempting to get some kind of copy, so you can give an honest review on the product.
And one thing too, like if you have your mindset on that product and you like that product, you know, you've heard good things of it, and you don't get a review copy, and you've got a bit of money, go through the buying process and actually buy the product, because what you will learn is, and if you sort of take note of yourself buying it, you'll learn how other people are going to go through and buy that product, and then you can sort of put that in your content. Oh, when I was buying the product, I got offered this other thing or something like that. You can sort of, if you got so many different upsells, maybe you could use that as an annoyance or a con sort of thing, saying in your pros and cons, you can say, one thing I didn't like was being offered all these different offers. However, the product is good and it does what it says it does. So
an honest experience.
Yeah, and you can share what to expect for people that are going to be about to buy. Because you can say, well, on the next page, you'll land on the checkout, and after that, you'll give you a one-time offer if you're lucky or something. You know, just sort of give them that what to expect experience.
That way, when it does happen, they're already prepared for it as well.
Exactly. And if they do have an upsell, if they do have an upsell and you know it's a good upsell, well, you can recommend that as well, because most of those upsells are hidden. And a lot of other affiliates, because they're too lazy to reach out, or they just don't know because they haven't gone through the buying process themselves, they might not have that in their content. So like you'll have that bit of edge. You can say, well, you know, there could be like an extra part to the course or software or whatever it is that's an upsell. You can say, I highly recommend getting this too because it'll help you because of X, Y, Z. So yeah, it's something else to include.
And I know that you're like quite heavily on Clickbank and other kind of affiliate networks. Are you also, like, I know you said you do build Amazon sites as well, because I know a lot of beginners is either Clickbank or Amazon. These are the two things that they're only aware of. So in regards to if we were going to talk about Amazon or against Clickbank, What does your keyword strategy compare like against those two kind of networks, marketplaces in that sense? For an Amazon site, would you do the same kind of keyword research that you would do for a Clickbank site? How does that compare?
Very similar. Like it's a similar keyword strategy. However, with ClickBank products, I focus more on the buyer intent stuff where people are more ready to buy. So like I'll go for reviews. It might be like product name discount. It could be where to buy XYZ. It could be product versus other product, or even people searching for net reviews, things like that. I might target that keyword and
Sorry, could you
reassure
just
them that the
repeat that
product is
last
good.
bit again, Warren? And we just broke up for a second. Can you just repeat
Yep.
that last bit, please?
Yeah. So I might also target negative review keywords. So if someone's looking for, iPhone negative reviews or something like that, or negative reviews of iPhone 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
I might create a review around that. I don't really like using the word scam. I just think it's sort of like, I know a lot of people do, but to me, it sort of can put things in people's mind that product is a scam. And a lot of, especially ClickBank, a lot of ClickBank vendors don't like that either.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
right.
most of them will have that in their terms, and if you break those terms, you can get kicked off ClickBank.
Yeah,
so it's something that I don't recommend doing. However, like if you've mentioned like negative review or something like that, it's a little bit different because you can sort of say in your content that you can mention the keyword a couple of times, but make it more of a positive one if the product is good and you're doing a
and of
positive
course
review.
you could kind of flip it on its head and kind of, instead of saying blah 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 scam, you could say blah blah blah, is it legit? It's just saying
exactly
different words.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you obviously, for a ClickBank site, would focus on buyer intent. So this is something that I would personally want to ask you as well whilst you're here. When you build out these review articles on a ClickBank product, that's obviously great. So we've got the review and we might have these other similar buyer intent articles. But then how do we expand on that and actually drive a vast amount of traffic? Because if those keywords are very low search volume keywords, how do we then expand? Because I know that your technique is always to, build out content then around problems that people are experiencing of why they would need that product. So just take us through how you'd go about that.
Yeah. So that's a good point, because a lot of the ClickBank products, like Leon just said, they don't get a great amount of search volume. So like, unless it's sort of that someone's done a massive launch and people are doing email launches and things like that, campaigns, that's when you'll get most of your review sort of traffic, when they're really pushing. But over time, if that product does become popular, a lot of people will search for reviews. So to sort of get the traffic, what you need to do is either create content that is around the problem that product solves, and then sort of like, it might be how to get rid of, say for example, I think I actually promoted it once. It was how to get rid of cellulite. Okay. So so what you would then do is create content around different types of keywords that people are asking, that have that sort of pain, and you then build the sort of curiosity around the product, and then drive those visitors that are landing on those pages to your reviews, which will then build up more, like it's good for SEO because you're linking to those reviews. It's good for the visitors coming in because they're learning more about that product. They might want to read the review and make sure it's legit and does what it says it does. It's sort of, so you're taking them from one page to your review page, or to a different buyer intent type keyword, where you might be targeting where to buy cellulite miracle or something like that, whatever the product's name. instead of review.
Mm-hmm.
So like you might link to that page instead, because that'll tell them where to buy it, or you could just mention it in that article as well. So you're sort of getting that traffic from that article. You're sending them to your review article or whatever article it is, because it's helping with SEO, because you're doing interlinking and passing views down, and it builds relevancy as well. But yeah, you branch out, you're casting a bigger net to catch more fish. That's how I sort of always explain
So
it.
it's almost like a funnel experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it sort of is. Yeah, it's definitely very much so like that. But like the more keywords that you can rank for on all these different problems and pains, and maybe it's tutorials or how to sort of go. And if you can write good quality content around those things, it just gets more and more traffic. And like I said, you're building a bigger net to cast and catch more and more traffic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So just whilst we're focused on your content strategy, do you like have like a kind of, you know, that I'm trying to help the beginners out there, because one thing that I've understood as you go on to, you know, kind of build any kind of business is there's no exact to anything. But when someone starts, they always like, tell me the number. What's the number? They want to know the exact like thing, and there is no such thing. But just to give people like an idea, is there like a kind of amount of posts you would say you would go for? Say, for example, we're going to build a site. I'm in the dog niche. So if I was to build a site in a dog niche, and I found this great product, one of them I promote, everyone knows anyway, brain training for dogs. So I promote that product. So then would I go and, you know, would you kind of say, okay, well, I'm going to build that review and then like another 5 or 10 articles? Because I know your bigger site, which just to point out to anyone watching, you can go and see Warren's case study on amninjas.com. He's actually also got a YouTube channel that we'll be linking below this video, but he has shared the whole process of that website that he sold for 100 or 1,000, 6 figures. He shared it all, you know, so it's all there. Go check that out on either his website or his YouTube channel, which we'll link out below. But just to come back to that, Warren, because I know that site, I studied it with a fine-tooth comb, not the site, but the method. I know that was only like about 20 pages or something. It wasn't a lot of content. So is that kind of the goal? How do you go about that?
Yeah, so for those wanting to know how many pages, like Leon just said, there's no exact amount. It's what I like to do is I'll try and go for about 30 pages, sometimes 50 pages of content. However, sometimes like I might only get to 15, 20 pages, and I'll start seeing the traffic coming in, because like Google's sort of picking it up over time. That site with my case study, that wasn't the one I actually sold. It's still
okay.
Still
So wrong one.
Yeah, I will eventually sell that one though.
Yeah.
But with that one, there was like, I think there's like 22 pages. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, only a couple of those pages really sort of took off. And that site was sort of getting about 800-ish visitors a day. It's doing really well in the search engines. It's sort of up and down at the moment. I think probably because of Christmas, and it's starting to go back up now. But you can make good money off, 15, 20 articles. It just depends on if those articles rank, and if those keywords that you're driving, that you're ranking for, is driving good traffic and qualified traffic.
So do you have like a kind of volume that you don't kind of breach, like go below in that sense?
Not really, because like if I'm looking at volume with keyword tools, a lot of the time they're not right. If I know a keyword is going to actually, if it makes sense for me and I know it's going to help my visitors for that site, and I know that there's going to be more than, because some will say 0 or 0 to 10, and I've actually ranked for those keywords and they've brought in hundreds of visitors a day. It's like totally way off. So I sort of take those keyword tools with a grain of salt, sort of thing, and use my brain a little bit too. So I know it makes sense to write that content, and it says 0, I'll still do it, because I know it's going to either help people, and I can link to that article, and that article might, drive people to a review, or it might drive people straight to an affiliate product, or capture a lead or something. But generally, like I like going after, long tail keywords to start with. So they might be like anywhere between 300 to 500 monthly views to 5,000 sort of thing. It just depends on the competition and what big sites are already ranking. So if I know big sites, say if you're writing content for a health site and you've got Healthline or WebMD or something like that ranking for all those type of keywords that you think are good, I'll probably wouldn't worry too much about it already. So I'd go after the ones that are pretty easy to rank, and most keyword tools, even though most are sort of dodgy, they will give you a bit of a keyword difficulty score, and I do follow that a lot of the time, but I do go through my own sort of little processes of making sure that it is worth writing that content for. But anywhere between, if you want a number, probably 300 to a couple of thousand sort of thing. Okay. But I'll still always write content for high competitive keywords if I know it's going to help, because I'm all about helping my visitors. Like I'll write the content if I know it's going to help people, because I can drive traffic from other articles to those articles by linking to them, and that builds relevancy and stuff like that as well, which helps with SEO. And over time, you can rank for those keywords. Like if you get backlinks, build backlinks to them, or acquire backlinks naturally. Over time, those bigger keywords can rank. So why not write them?
And how do you determine like the length of your content?
So that's a lot of people. What a lot of people will normally do, they'll just go, okay, I just want a 2,000 word article, or a 3,000 word article, or a 1,500 word article, because I notice that a lot with my writing service. But you've sort of got to do the research on that keyword. So if I was going to write an article for just any type of keyword, I would look at the top 3 to 5 sites, and I would have a look at their word count, and I'd sort of work out a bit of an average. And like if the top 3 sites have all got over 2,000 words, well, I'd make sure my content's going to be a little bit more and go into depth. And I wouldn't just write content for the sake of it. I'd actually make sure that content is, like really good quality content. It's, answered a lot of the questions people are probably thinking about when they've searched for that query. That way they sort of get all the answers, because when you're writing content or when you're getting content up on your site, you don't want to have people going, okay, I learnt this, now I need to learn such and such about whatever it is they search for. If you have all the answers on that page, or if you're linking good and have content that answers those questions, you'll keep them on your site, or you'll link out to a product that'll, affiliate product that'll solve their problem as well.
And do you usually, like, for example, on a Clickbank site, like for me, I start off with just writing out a few reviews on the products that I'm going to be promoting across the site? Is that how you would, first of all, kind of start a site? Or would you, first of all, write the content around the problems and then write the reviews on those problems?
Yeah, so most of mine, I probably generally start with the pains and just generic type articles that I know are going to help. And but I will definitely write reviews and buyer intent type keywords early on. One big thing I like doing is including a lot of listicle type stuff, like best XYZ or the top, 10 web hosts, for example, because those can be pretty easy to rank for sometimes, and I'm not going to say that they are easy to rank for. But good thing about big long listicles, say like a 3,000 to 5,000 word listicle, you can rank for multiple different keywords, and that's the same with other keywords. Like if you make your content a lot longer and include like related keywords within that article, you can rank for those keywords too. And that can sort of drive a lot more traffic to that page. So it's sort of like I will start with a couple of just normal articles and then just ad reviews.
Okay, so you mentioned just now that you obviously sometimes send some backlinks to a site or an article or so on and so forth. What kind of backlinks do you use? Like, are you using Web 2.0's guest posts, like PBNs? Like, what's your thoughts on all of that, and how do you go about that?
Yeah, so if I'm just starting a website and I've just got, say, 20 pages of content up on it, or I'm sort of halfway through that, like I've got a few pages, and the first thing that I start with is social. And the reason why I start with social media is because I'll share my articles and I'll share other people's stuff and try and get a bit of a following and a bit of, traction sort of thing, because the way I look at it these days is, like if you're not sharing on social media and stuff like that, who's going to know your website exists, sort of thing. Like if you've got your website up and you're waiting for people to just build links to you, naturally it's probably not going to happen. So I start with social media. It sort of gets those social signals sort of flowing, and then like after that I'll either start with I used to be big on Web 2s. I sort of still do them. And the reason for that is because they've already got that authority there. If you create them right, don't just go and create a one-page something that's not going to add any value to the web. Always trying to make something that's going to add value to the web, because later on you'll sort of reap the rewards for it. A lot of the time they're not going to sort of juice your site up really quickly, or they don't have that much power, but they are still worth doing. And the way that I sort of focus on Web 2s, for example, like I might get a few articles up on that one platform. I'll interlink and stuff, just like a normal website. I'll build it into a mini site. I'll link back to my pages on my money site, and I'll also be active on that platform by, might be reblogging other people's stuff or liking other people's stuff while logged in, or commenting within that same platform. So it's say, for example, WordPress.com, and I'll build a Web 2 on there. Like I'll sort of interact with other blogs, and sort of it's building that authority back to my profile, which will sort of link out to those articles that I've created on there, and sort of other than Web 2, like I still do blog commenting and things like that. Because I like to get a bit of a mix of no follow and do follow links, and I definitely don't spam. I actually take the time. If it's going to be a blog comment, it's going to be one that I know is on a high traffic site, and it's also going to be, like I'll write the comment so it's going to stick. Meaning I'm not just going to spam it and say, oh, great article, well done. I'll get in there, I'll ask a question to the blog owner, or I'll add a bit of value to it, or my opinion, and I'll either link back to my site in my name, in like the website address where you can leave that there, or I'll drop a URL, like a sneaky one. I'll say, I was just reading this blog, this article or something like that. They mentioned this and that. What do you think? And then I'll drop a link to a page on my site and pretend it's not mine, sort of thing. So I'll do those. Sometimes forums. So I still do a little bit of bum marketing in a way. Guest posting, that's something that I do. PBNs, sort of. I dabble a little bit in PBNs. The problem is with buying PBNs off other people or outsourcing them, you just don't have full control. So ultimately, if you can, and it's a lot of work, if you can make your own, it's going to be a lot better for you. The reason being is because a lot of these sellers don't look after their PBNs, or they let them expire. It sort of can be a bit messy, and a lot of the time they're just posting random stuff about all different content. And I like my links to be relevant to the content that I'm creating. So if I'm building a site on dog training, I want to have links from other dog training sites or related sites. I don't want something from auto repairs or you know, and that's if you actually look into people's PBNs, and you can find them sometimes, you'll notice that they're just full of rubbish content.
Okay. So just talking about your interlinking strategy, I know you've got quite a few videos on it, but do you use silos across all of your sites?
I wouldn't say all across my sites. I do have a few sites where I sort of, and the way I do that is these days, like I used to have a sidebar with just links.
I remember there was a plugin video.
So you can get a plugin that was custom sidebar widget or something. I think it was. I still do use that, and what I would do, I just show links within that same category, and it would sort of stay very relevant, or I'd choose the post to show that were highly relevant to that article. So like if you go on sites like Quora or big sites like that, you'll notice in the sidebar or on that page, they only really show related questions or related links to that same page. It's sort of similar to a silo because it keeps everything so relevant. But yeah, like with my sites, like I'll try and keep things pretty siloed, but a lot of the time with my articles, like I'll just have a full width article with a narrow strip of content. And the reason for that is, one, I can control the links on there, so I won't have a sidebar at all. I control all the links on there just by interlinking myself. I won't have related posts. I won't have any type of stuff like that. And it's really good for conversions as well, because it makes people focus in on the content that they just landed on. So if they just came from XYZ review and they've landed on that page and it's a full width page, it's just content, no sidebar, they're sort of forced to focus on reading that content with no distractions. And then that way I can sort of link out to whatever page I want them to go and see, or an affiliate link, or make just have an opt-in form maybe. And that way I can sort of control what pages that are linking out to as well. And sometimes I'll have like if it's a review, I won't have many links in the navigation bar as well. It might just be a couple of links that go into that same category, just to keep it all relevant.
Yeah. And just to dig in a little further, so in regards to how you go about ranking, just say a specific keyword or article, for those who are new out here, is there any kind of key metrics that you pay attention to in regards to, like, domain authority, page authority, or content length or quality of content? If you had a brand new website and, say, for example, we were building an article around a particular pain, as you mentioned earlier on. So say, for example, getting rid of cellulite, when you go and search those top 10 results, what is the key indicator that tells you, okay, you know what, I think I can get in here and actually outrank these sites?
Yeah, so I know if a lot of, like, if it's a brand new site and this is for beginners, they're probably going to get stuck on all these different metrics. What I recommend is, like, sometimes you just need to create content because it's going to help your users, but you also want to be creating content that you can actually rank for. So if you're doing the long tail keywords, what I recommend doing, and if you can't afford tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush or those type of tools, is to go in and type it into Google in brackets or quotes, whatever it is. And that will show you the exact, like in Google, it will show you the exact match for that keyword, and it will show you how many competing sites that you have. So it'll say 50,000 sites or something like that. The lower amount of sites, well, that's, to me, it's sort of going to be easier. Like if I'm writing content for a result that turns back, say, 10,000 results, well, then know it's going to be pretty easy. But once you start getting 100,000 results or 1 million results and things like that, it's going to be a lot harder. But yeah, like, write content that's going to help your visitors, and also try and go for these longer tail keywords that's going to help them as well. But like, if you see big sites, you know, like like if it's a cellulite one, for example,
or something.
If you see WebMD and things like that, it's probably going to be an indicator that it's going to be hard to rank for. But, you know, if you can get into the top 10, you don't have to go for number 1, because these days especially, number 1, number 2 sometimes doesn't convert as good as number 3. Like, if you're ranking 3rd or 4th, that might be, you know, part of the buyer process sort of thing that they've gone through. Sites didn't get their answer on your site, and you've given a good review or you've given good content on whatever it is, there's a good chance that you can win that conversion. So, you know, if I'm ranking 3rd or 4th or just on the first page, I'm normally pretty happy. Like, I like to try to get up there. But I've found with a lot of the keywords that I'm actually ranking for that are driving the sales is like number 2, 3, sometimes 4.
Okay. And for a brand new site, just on that topic, do you have any kind of strategies or methods of getting out of the Google Sandbox quickly, or do you believe in the Google Sandbox? Is that something you think is a thing?
Yeah, I think it sort of can be, because I've had sites that have just been stuck, and I sort of, no matter what I sort of did, it just didn't budget. I recommend sort of like, if you think that you're stuck, just continue doing as you would. Like, keep continuing adding content, keep building links, you know, be active on social media. Look for other ways to drive traffic, because you shouldn't always just rely on Google traffic anyway. So in the meantime, while you're waiting for Google to understand what your site's about and determine where to rank you and all that sort of stuff, you should be going out and getting traffic and finding your audience. Where do they hang out? What, you know, forums are they in? What blogs are they reading? What, you know, if they're on YouTube, can you make YouTube videos to get the traffic to your site? And like, if you don't feel like being on camera or anything like that, there is software that you can use. Like, it used to be called Content Samurai. It's called Vietnami now. And you can turn your blog posts into videos. You don't have to be on screen. You can use a robot voice, or you can use your own voiceover, or hire someone to do it. So you can get video up and get traffic from sites like YouTube, other ones as well. So you can do that. Like I said, social media, you know, just be wherever your audience is while Google's determining where your site's going to sit, sort of thing. And then once you do start seeing, and if you make sure you've got Google Search Console installed, just take note of what's happening in your console, and see what impressions you're getting ranked for, what type of content Google is liking on your site. And if you have got some data there, have a look at your click-through rate and things like that, because if you've got a poor click-through rate and a lot of impressions, a lot of the time it might be your title just isn't grabbing people's attention. And if you can tweak your title, you can actually increase your rankings as well if you get a higher click-through rate, because Google will see that. And if you've got good content and people lingering around your site longer, well, then your rankings will go up there as well.
Brilliant. Okay, so just to take a left turn and wrap it up in a second. So we've obviously gone through Warren's strategy now. I'm sure many of you are aware of, you know, his content strategy, his keyword strategy, how he builds these sites, everything. I'm sure this is the most in-depth interview he's probably experienced with someone digging into his methods. But anyway, like, just you personally, Warren, like, I mean, at the stage where you're at now, like, I mean, a lot of us, you know, at the beginning of our journeys are always facing, you know, mistakes and failures. What kind of failures and problems and challenges are you experiencing at your level of where you're at with your business now?
Where I'm at now is probably, a lot of the time it still comes down to family and balance and things like that.
Okay.
I do go through burnout too, because like I invest a lot of my time and energy into what I like doing, and sometimes that can be a bad thing, because if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're grinding way too much, you can go through a burnout. I went through a massive burnout, actually. This is actually made a video on it, and
I've seen that as well. Yeah,
it was to the point where I actually just felt numb, like I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't do anything. It just felt like I knew what to do, but the cogs just wouldn't spin. And it was just because I was just so burnt out, and I was always inside. I wasn't getting outdoors, and wasn't getting fresh air and things like that. It's just, it's something that's not nice to go through. But I guess with everything, like sometimes you find it hard to scale. That's another thing that a lot of people sort of face at a certain part of their time. And just staying, hungry. Because sometimes, like, when you start making a certain amount of money, you can get really complacent and sort of lazy. And like, if you're not sort of keeping up with things, competitors can take over you. Updates happen, and if you're not on top of that sort of stuff, a lot of stuff like that can happen, and it can make you, like lose a lot of focus and things like that too, because like I see it all the time as well. People will sort of reach a certain level, and then they'll just tank because they've reached their goal, and then they'll go, oh, I don't know what to do now. Like I've succeeded, sort of thing. So you always got to create new goals, and that's something that I try and do as much as I can.
Is that your reason for, like, sometimes selling sites as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'll get to a certain point with the site, and like I'll just go, I think it's time to sell, and I'll sell it. I'll either use that money to invest into something else, or go on a good holiday and put money away, or buy my toys or whatever. I'm not someone that goes out and buys Lamborghinis or anything like that. It's just me. But I just sort of get to that point where I like to sort of stay hungry. So if I sell a site and then start again, it's that journey of the part that I like, sort of thing, because it is a big challenge.
Okay, great. All right, so just to wrap this up, like, what kind of, if you could give advice to anyone, like a beginner, which I'm sure you speak to many, just for those of in my audience who are watching this video, like, what kind of advice could you give to them, just coming out the gates, getting started with SEO and affiliate marketing? What's the best advice that you could give a complete beginner?
So if you're just getting started and you're sort of stuck, maybe you're sort of stuck at phase one, trying to figure out what niche to go into, for example, just choose something, and don't be scared of failure. Use failure as a learning tool, because a lot of the time, you might procrastinate and just think to yourself, well, if I do this, it's not going to work, or what happens if I spend all this money or time and if I fail. If you actually take action and do the work and just laser focus on that one thing, don't look for shortcuts, don't look for don't fall for shiny objects, because that can happen to a lot of us. Just try and stay as focused as you can on the one thing, on that one site, and just try and build it up as much as you can. And like, not every page that you create is going to rank. Use those pages, or use whatever it is that you're doing, as a learning process. And like I said, if you fail, well, at least you're learning from that. Don't let failure sort of rot you. Like I've been to certain stages as I was sort of coming up, and there was many times where I wanted to give up, where if I had given up back then, I wouldn't be at the stage I'm at now. I would have been stacking bricks, or doing whatever I was doing before. And you've just got to really focus in and like, just immerse yourself in it, learn and be part of the whole sort of tribe sort of thing of affiliate marketing. If that's what you want to do, go all in.
Okay. And do you have any questions for me at all, Warren?
put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, well, you've been a member of my Facebook group for a long time, Affiliate Marketing Ninjas, and I've sort of watched you a fair bit at the start. You sort of, and then we were going to do this interview a while back, were we? Like back in August, I think we looked. So how are you going with things? Like, what are you doing in your whole game plan and your strategy? Is it similar to what I'm doing, or are you doing anything? Maybe I can pick your brain here.
Yeah, no. So I started off with just building one site, which I still run now, which is in the dog niche, as I mentioned earlier. And that was the site that I was building up, like, non-stop over the past year or so. So that site, my whole goal was to rank and make money with SEO. I did dabble into paid traffic when I first started affiliate marketing. Never really had any real successes with it, so I was always like, up and down. And so like after building that one site, it's at over 100 articles now, and brings in a nice bit of money. I actually share the income reports on this channel, but now I've built like several other sites as well. So I've got about 3 sites in total, and one of them being a Clickbank site, and I've also shared that site on this channel as well. Not a massive site, very small. That Clickbank site, it's about 6 pages, but brings in like $300 a month. So I just shared it as like a case study kind of for those on the channel. And then most recently, I've actually gone back into paid advertising using Google Ads, because AdWords, I'm now very familiar with the search intent and click-through rates and earnings per click, all of these different metrics that I, kind of never understood before. I'm now a lot more familiar with. So when I've dabbled into that now, I won't share too much on that, because my audience, I'm going to be coming up with videos and a series for that in the near future. But that's been going pretty well as well. So the moving forward for me, my goal is to eventually sell the dog website, because I know I'll get a nice bit of money for that. I'll then use that money to invest into other areas like of SEO and niche websites, and build one again from scratch, because I know I can do it again. And then, kind of focus more on paid traffic, because I do want to actually master paid traffic this year, and, get as good as I can within this year period, and make that a good income source for me to, really scale up what I'm doing at the moment. And YouTube, of course, is another one of my goals, is to just build a big following on YouTube and build a big audience.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I highly recommend with YouTube. Like, I've been a bit slack with my channel myself. Like, I'm sort of getting back into it as well. But it's just more like I struggle with making videos, and I sort of weirded out by making videos and other people watching my stuff.
It's if you're because there's a massive transition that I had to make, and it's exactly something that I've heard you mention before. It's if you're an introvert at nature, if you enjoy your own space and you're not like a person like, I'm very kind of almost loud on camera, but if you take me out to a party or something, you'll never catch me dancing or anything like that. I'm like very like, no, I get embarrassed. And the first time you see a black guy go red. Yeah, so I just don't like that kind of stuff. So like I'm very introvert at heart. So when you're an introvert, putting yourself out there to a massive audience, it's quite overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like what I've found with it is it takes me a long time to do them, but at the same time, like I just sort of got to the point where I thought, bugger it, I'm not going to do any editing or anything like that. Just going to do them raw and just let it out, because what I find, like if you're starting to think about things too much, it just doesn't come across any good anyway. People appreciate their authenticity and how, like raw things are. So that's why I try and stick out and just keep original.
Okay. So it's that all important part at the end of the video. It's been brilliant having Warren on, but one of the things that all of you are probably just bursting to ask is, how can they reach you, Warren? How can people get through to you? If they want to find out more about what Warren Wheeler does, how can they do it? What are the resources and, links, avenues, whatever? We're going to leave it all below, but how are they going to get in touch?
All right, so probably the best place is to go on Facebook and just search in Affiliate Marketing Ninjas. If you want to put links to make things easier for people, and share some links. In that group, it's we've grown to about 34,000 members, and you've been a member for a long time.
Yeah.
Dion, so you know what it's all about. But yeah, there's about 34,000 members. There's no spam or anything like that. We've got a big ban hammer, and that comes down very quickly on people that sort of muck up spam or things like that. So and it's a group where the only silly question is the one you don't ask. So if you're struggling and you want to know, something, just ask it. People aren't judging you on what level you're at or anything like that. And if I'm not answering your questions, other people are, because we've grown a good community there, and people are just helping each other out. It's sort of, I'm pretty proud of it actually, because I did spend a lot of time and effort into it. But my website, amninjas.com, which I'm sort of revamping, and Authority Rocket, where I actually have article writing service and done for you content packages for people that are struggling with writing and things like that. So a small writing service team, but we love doing what we do. So so Authority Rocket, AM Ninjas, and Affiliate Marketing Ninjas Facebook group.
Great, brilliant. All right, well, thank you for coming on today, Warren. You've been absolutely amazing. It's actually been over an hour, so I'm sure we might both need a glass of water after this. Yeah, been a little while, but thank you, guys. We deserve a big, massive like on this video, and also a subscribe. Go and check out. That's it. Go and check out Warren's stuff. He's absolutely amazing. If any of you follow me, this is the guy that I learned a lot of stuff from. So go and dig into what he does. Go and check it out. He is the man in this industry. Even you'll hear Franklin Hatchett mention him, like everyone. So go check him out. All right, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.